Good morning, everyone. My name is Amy Collins, and I am here with Free Advice Friday, hopefully to answer any and all questions you might have about the publishing industry as things come up. There's a number of questions that have come across in my email this week. I've got them right here and would love to share them with you all. But first, I want to make sure that you guys can all hear me. Those of you who are attending live on the webinar, Ellie, Kate, Sonia, Wendy, how you doing? Good to see you always. Can you guys hear me okay? If you can hear me okay, can you go to the Q&A box and just say hello? All right. Bum, bum, bum. Wonderful. All right. Sonia, Wendy, Tammy, good to see you. Oh, and apparently my chat is also working. Ellie can see me. Ellie, make sure you go to the question box. I try my best to answer things on chat. But the question, if you have any questions, guys, just go to the question box on the bottom of the Zoom screen. And if you're watching me live on Facebook, that would be great too. Hi, Vicki. Good to see you checking in on Facebook. I saw a bunch of your messages this morning, but I'm afraid I was in the middle of proposals, but I will get right to you guys. All right. That being said, let's get right into the questions. As I said, I got some questions sent in this week, and one of them was by Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Always good to see you. She's curious about copyright dates. As you guys may remember, Wendy, and actually a couple of you, are thinking of putting out a new edition of your book. I recommend that this happens when, especially for nonfiction books, when the content needs to be updated, because as things progress in this very changing world, content is constantly getting outdated very quickly. So if you have a print book or an ebook that's a few years old and it hasn't gotten the sales that you thought it should, coming out with a new edition is a wonderful way to give it new life. So we've talked about that. I won't get into that again unless you guys are curious. But Wendy has decided to put out a new edition of her book, and she's curious about copyright dates on the copyright page. I want to be clear, I am not a copyright lawyer, but I do know a thing or two about the publishing world. So let me tell you about what the current practices are. If you have a book that is a few years old, let's say the copyright is 2015, and you are going to come out with a 2019 edition of that book, your copyright page should list copyright 2015, and then there should be a comma and 2019. What it means when there's 2 years on the copyright date is that the book was updated or it came out with a new edition. So copyright 2015, comma, 2019. There are a lot of publishers out there, such as Writer's Digest and the Dummies books, that come out with, for instance, there's a number of college guides that Sourcebooks puts out, and these are annuals. So when you see a copyright range, 2015-2019, what that is saying is that the copyright is held good for all editions that have come out during that age time, from 2015 all the way through 2019. So when you're putting a copyright date on your copyright page, please, please, please check this out with the Library of Congress. If you are watching this on a replay, my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Amy Collins has all of my Free Advice Friday videos. And if you're watching this as a replay, those practices may have changed. I don't know when you're listening to the dulcet tones of my voice. But so check things out with the Library of Congress if you're a U.S. citizen. Check them out with your own country if you're from another locale. But at the moment, Wendy, what you should do is put the original copyright date, a comma, and the new copyright date. I hope that helps. All right, well, welcome again, those of you on Facebook. I see that, again, Vicki is checking in. I really appreciate, Vicki, your support. And I see a number of questions here in the webinar. Linda, good morning. I did get your text and I got your email, but I am afraid it was a very late night. And by the time I got it, it was way too late to call you. I will touch base with you today. So Sonia is asking, well, first she wishes me a happy Friday. Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate it. Sonia is saying, could you comment on using author Q&As as a marketing tactic? Let's see, could I comment on whether or not an Ask Me Anything or a Q&A is a good marketing? Well, I'm doing one, so I think it's a fabulous marketing tactic. To whom should they be sent? What kind of questions are most effective? What kind of hook should we use? And apparently Sonia's going to see me in New York City next week. I'm at the Writer's Digest conference teaching a class on the business of publishing. And on Friday during the conference, I'm teaching 2 sessions, both on book marketing. Sonia, I can't wait to see you in person. All right, so Q&As, it depends. But I would start by saying that you don't actually want to market yourself or your Q&As. It's more important to start a body of work. When I started Free Advice Friday, which now gets thousands of views every month, but when I started, it was many years ago, nobody was watching them. I recorded them as though I had an enormous audience, and I had to seed my own questions. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I have lots of emailed questions that come in every week now. There's dozens of you who are asking live questions every week. That was not how it was in the beginning. I staged my Q&As. I fronted my own questions. I asked the questions that I was asked most often. Sonia, you've got a very specific topic. And I know that you've got a lot of plans for not only that book, but you've heard me say over and over again, you have other books in you. I know you do. I'm sure you get the same questions over and over again. So put a Q&A together and videotape it and start getting it out. The idea of singing on an empty stage to an empty audience is a little nerve-wracking, guys, but it's totally worth it because somebody walking by the auditorium is going to hear you singing, and they're going to come in and they're going to listen for a while, and they're going to go tell other people about your singing, and eventually you will be singing to a half-filled auditorium. Hopefully, eventually a fully filled auditorium. But that is my tactic. I think Q&As, especially for nonfiction authors, and Ask Me Anythings are a great way to grow readers' awareness of who you are and what's going on. Ellie is asking a question about Skype. Now, I don't know, but we'll see if I can answer this. A journal has asked her to schedule a podcast on Skype. She signed up for Skype, but the free version of Skype, will it work, or does she need the paid version? Absolutely not. For the vast majority of you, I use a free version of Skype still. I use Zoom for my webinars and for most of my meetings, and I use OneChat. I don't know if you guys are familiar with OneChat, but I love them too. And OneChat, Zoom, Skype, all of these are fine, but I like some of the robust tools in Zoom and OneChat. But for a podcast, for an interview, Skype is fine. The free edition is fine. I will tell you that if you're going to do a lot of videos and a lot of interviews, there's a couple of tools that you might want to invest in. I don't know if you guys can see this, but do you see this microphone here? That cost me about, I don't know, $50, $60. It was not expensive, but I use a external microphone. I think that's important. I have a Logitech 1080 camera. I think the model number I use is a 922. But I don't just use my laptop camera. I don't just use my computer. I invested in a few tools. I have a light right here that's, can you see how bright my hand is? That light keeps my wrinkles from showing. It's you can set a few things up for $40 or $50 total that can make you look better and sound better, but Skype is nothing you need to worry about. Quite often it's your camera and your microphone. So if you're going to do podcasts, if you're going to do videos, I'd be more than happy, again, to tell you about the tools I use. I've got a Yeti Blue Snowball here and a Logitech 922 video camera. And I bought for $9 a ring light on Amazon that just clips to my desk, and that's how it works. I hope that helps you guys, those who are interested in doing video. The other thing is, long before you do video, what I do on Friday mornings before I see you is I turn on my camera and I make sure that my hair and my collar and my lipstick looks good. Sorry, boys. In your case, I'm sure the hair and the lipstick looks awesome. But make sure you take a look at what you look like in the camera. Don't just wait until 2 minutes before. Tammy is contributing a story to a multi-author set for the holidays. She's free to publish it on her own as a standalone in February. Can she copyright her work as a standalone now and register it with her own ISBN, or do I have to wait until February? She's not sure how to handle it. Tammy, I don't know about registering and publishing this book before February or announcing it with your own ISBN, but I do know that you can copyright the work right now, and you should. You should absolutely, because the copyright, if it belongs to you, make sure the contract you're signing with this multi-author deal that you are not giving away your publishing rights exclusively. Make sure you're not giving away a copyright. Check the paperwork. Never, ever, ever. I mean, I give my writing away all the time. I write free blogs. I don't get paid for writing blogs for Ingram Spark or the book designer. But I make sure that I have in writing that the words are mine, the copyright is mine, the content is mine, they're not exclusive. I make sure that I get approval of how my name and my brand is used. That's important, Tammy, especially. So copyright, branding, that's all yours. Go for it. Registering the work with your own ISBN is fine if you're talking about registering it at Bowker. I wouldn't put it on Amazon before February. That smacks a little of inappropriate, being that they are trying to launch a multi-author set. I wouldn't even mention out in the marketplace that you're going to be re-releasing the book in February until it gets much closer and after the holidays are over. So that is my 2 cents. I apparently misunderstood Sonia's question about Q&As. The real question is, does a Q&A, a list of questions and answered, on your media page or sent to the media, is that a good idea, and where do you come up with the questions? So there you go, Sonia. Apparently I answered the question I wanted to instead of the question you were asking. I can answer both. Yes. I highly recommend that you have at least 5. I'd prefer 7. 10 would be fabulous, but I'll give you 7. 7 questions that you would be willing to answer for the media. I don't give the answers. Media, they're not going to read, but I always send the media questions that I have been asked and that I have great answers to. And I ask them if they'd like to see any of answers to any of these particular questions. I use my questions as a way to engage in a conversation. So when I'm reaching out to a blogger or a vlogger, or even a conference where I want to speak, I have a sheet, but I also have an email that says, I was on your website, or I was listening to your blog, or whatever, because I say this to be true. If you have not listened to their podcast, don't say you have. And I was fascinated by this topic you were discussing. Quite often I am interviewed about the following questions and give 3, 5, 7. It depends on what you're comfortable with. I was wondering if any of these would be of interest to you. I'd be happy to send you a sample answer so you could see what sort of interview I'd be. So yes, I don't think you need to send a Q&A. I think you need to send Qs. Send the questions to the media. All right. Yes, Ellie, it is a fat mic, but once you go, go big or go home. And I think it works. All right. Tammy was talking about Bowker. Let me hop back on Facebook and make sure there's no questions. I'm welcoming everyone. Guys, if you are watching this Free Advice Friday on a Facebook Live, or if you're watching it on Facebook as a replay later, please like it. Please hit share. I would love if you would share these questions and my weekly Friday little chit chat with any of your author friends. It's really important, guys, if possible. It's really important that for me, that I try to be as helpful as I can. And some of the ways that I can be helpful now, unfortunately, have to be somewhat limited because of my time. So these Free Advice Fridays are my way of trying to give free consulting and to answer questions where I can. I can't always answer all the emails that come in now with the questions that are hitting. So if you would be so kind as to tell people about these Free Advice Fridays, I would be so grateful, because it's the way I can help more people. All right, let's see if there's more questions today. Stephen, how are you? Good morning this morning. Stephen is thinking about starting a YouTube channel, but he's curious how he can have both free content and paid content. Any tips so that people would still like to purchase a course? Well, Stephen, I actually support myself selling my content, and I give it away freely, because this is what I believe. I believe that sharing my knowledge and giving far more away than I should will help the people who aren't going to pay for my information anyway. There are people out there who don't have it in their budget or just don't have it in their heart. They're not going to give me $600 for my lifetime access. I've got an insider membership club that I love that we charge $595 for. My library classes are anywhere from $500 to $700 depending on when and who you buy them from. But these courses they're very deep, they're very intense, they have all sorts of juice, but there's a lot of people out there that just don't have it in them, their time, their money, their interest to pay for that. So I still can sell my books, I still can raise my fame and people's awareness of who I am. I still can become more and more popular every month by giving away my information. And YouTube, Vimeo, these channels, these are some of the places I do it. There's always more to share. For me, I don't think hiding or hoarding information, that would work. So I would strongly recommend, Stephen, especially for you with your content about teaching people how to pay for college, I would recommend that you put together a whole series of videos, short little videos, put them on Facebook, repost them on social media, get the content out. Those who want to go deeper will find your book. Mention your book often. You will notice as I answered Stephen's question, I mentioned that I've got my Insiders Club and that I've got my library course and I have a book coming out next week called The Best-Selling Author. I want you guys to all go to my website and buy all of those things. What is my website? newshelves.com. Thanks for asking. So you can drop things in, Stephen, while you're being of service. But I really like your instincts. I think a YouTube channel for you in particular would be a great idea. Wendy, I'd be happy to put a link on for my Insiders program. We are just setting up the page today. It's been in beta for the last few years, but I will drop that in the chat box and in Facebook. The Insiders Club, guys, for those who are interested, I've got databases and, without exaggeration, hundreds of classes that I've taught on how to get reviews and how to approach bloggers, where I've interviewed agents about how to get foreign rights. I've got interviews about the Canadian market and what's going on and how to get into Chapters Indigo. Daniel Hall has put some classes up for me about Pinterest. All of these things, all of these classes about how to really work social media, some of my experiences with how to go about distribution. What is the actual amount of money you should make for print on demand, and how do you figure that out? How much money and time should you be budgeting towards what areas of marketing? Now, these are all things that I've learned over the years from doing Bestseller Builders, but not everyone has 30 grand to become a Bestseller Builders client, nor should they. So what we've done is we've distilled all these down into classes and templates, and I give you my Canva templates and my Word documents, and we put everything into a group, and it's called the Insiders Club. And for a one-time lifetime access, you have access to me, my Facebook group, and all of this content. We keep it up for time immemorial. It's a one-time purchase. So for those of you who are interested in the Insiders Club, we will be launching that website next Thursday, and I will tell you all about it next Friday on Free Advice Friday. All right, let's get into some other questions. I don't see that there's any new questions on Facebook, but I am so pleased to see you all. Let's see, why is Facebook talking to me? They shouldn't be talking to me. Lorraine Tong says, yay, Daniel Hall. Yes, yay, Daniel Hall. We're a big fan of his. All right. Lorraine is going to watch a replay. I do not see any other Facebook questions, but, you know, if you're watching me live on Facebook, throw them in. I'm in here 10 a.m. every Friday, and I answer any of your questions. Stephen's got another question. No, Stephen, the Insider Club is a one-time fee for lifetime access, and we're going to be offering it at a deep discount next week. So I promise I'll get you all the details, but I really appreciate you asking. Stephen is asking, could I further explain the language of contacts? The language of contacts for protecting publishing rights. Do you have examples? The language of contacts. Stephen, I am so sorry. Now, guys, please understand, I'm exhausted. It's the end of the week, and I'm trying to figure out what I said. The language of contacts for protecting publishing rights. Do you have examples? Stephen, I am so sorry. If you would make that question a little bit longer and ask it again, I do promise to answer it. maybe I just need, I clearly need more caffeine. 1 second. Maybe that'll help. Let me get to one of the questions that was emailed while Stephen is helping poor old Amy figure out what she's doing. All right, I need my old lady glasses, 1 moment. Christina is asking, when is a good time to start an author or a book landing page? Should she wait? Her book is self-published and it's coming out soon, and she wants to know when the best time is. She's just working on her first draft right now, and she's writing a business business resource. She doesn't even have a title, and she wants to know if it's too soon to start a landing page as an author or as a resource. She's in a writer's group, and it's been suggested that she has a special author's page for the book while she's working on it, a landing page of sorts. And the goal for her book is to get her name and programs out there. So Christina, it is time now. All of you who are listening, who are putting out content, even if that content is only in your computer, if you are putting out content, that means you're getting ideas. That means you're getting involved, and you're starting with the wonderful, creative, helpful, universal, and in some cases, it's almost spiritual process of getting your knowledge out there. There's a lot that goes into writing a book that we don't even understand. And having a landing page, having a page that talks about you as a person, you as an expert, or if you've written fiction, you as a writer, you don't have to have a title of your book. You don't even have to have the first draft done. Once you've started the process of writing, once you've started the process of jotting down your ideas, even if you started the process of hiring a ghostwriter, that is the time to put a page together. And this is what your page should include at the minimum. It should have information about who you are and why you are good at what you do. You may not be the right person to write this. You know, we talked about this last week. I am a big fan of hiring copywriters. I am not good about saying nice things about myself, but I'm very good at writing a check and letting other people say nice things about me. So may I suggest that you may not be the right person to write your own glowing testimonials and information. Getting, for you, Christina, some of the things that you've told me is that it sounds like you probably already have clients or already have people you've worked with. Get testimonials from them. Get nice things about their work with you. Put those on your landing page. Start creating a soft and appealing place for people to learn about you and your expertise. Perhaps you want to put together a frequently asked questions page, and I've got one on my site, newshelves.com/FAQ. These are questions that people ask me all the time that I think might be helpful. Christina, you might want to put a resource page together. I have one on my page, newshelves.com/peoplewelike. My People We Like page is one of the most often visited pages on my website, because what it is a list of people that I know and I trust and I've used in the past, or people I know and love have used them and they've done great work. And so I can feel like I can personally recommend them. Don't be afraid to even mention your competition. So having a landing page where you can be a resource for people, where people can see that working with you is a joy, a little bit of information about you and who you are, and some questions that you might have been asked in the past that other people might have. Just start simple. What if you just offer those 3 things on your page to start? That's you being of service. That's you being out there. It starts the SEO. Now, I'm not an SEO expert. I hire SEO experts, and I'm a big fan. There are people out there who do websites for me. Vicki Fitch, who's watching on Facebook right now and who was kind enough to tag me. She's working on my website as we speak. I'm a big fan, as I said, of letting the people who are experts do what they do well. So how to do a landing page, that's a whole different question. But I would recommend, Christina, that it is time. Oh, Stephen, I'm sorry, Stephen. I must have read it wrong. He was talking about the language of contracts. Stephen, I am an English major with a music degree. I have absolutely zero experience in the language of contracts for protecting publishing rights, but I do have a resource for you. Mark Levine. Mark, M-A-R-K, Levine. L-E-V-I-N-E. Yes, Levine. He's in Minnesota. He's in the St. Paul, Minneapolis area. And he has written a wonderful legal guide. It's, contract self-publishing guide. Mark Levine, Google him, get to know him. He is a fantastic resource. He knows more about publishing contracts and the legal side of things than I know about anything. So Mark would be a great resource. I would suggest that I don't have his website off the top of my head. He has many of them. But if you Google Mark Levine and if you Google, publishing contracts or self-publishing, you will find him very quickly. All right. Sorry, Stephen. Wish I could be more help there. But you do not want an opera major talking to you about contracts. I promise. Wendy's asking about return policies when working with bookstores. She understands that they can return products that don't sell anytime they choose to do so. That's pretty true. Now, technically, they can return books up to, I think, 2 years. I think they've got maybe 24 months. Some of them, they only have 60 days or 180 days, depending on what their contract is with the wholesaler that they're working with. If your books are returnable, Wendy, through Ingram, if you're with Ingram Spark, or if your books are returnable at Brodart or Baker and Taylor or any of the wholesalers, you will get those books back. Some of the rules that are broken all the time are that the books have to be in sellable condition. They rarely are. But the stores have a very different idea about what a sellable condition is. They'll return the book and they want their credit back. Wholesalers will return the book if you ask them to, but they also will destroy the books in place because a lot of wholesalers will charge you for the shipping to get the books back to you. So a lot of publishers don't want to pay that. They just ask the wholesalers to just pulp the books there and then they put them in the recycling. But yes, books were, many years ago, they were shifted to returnable. I believe it was Penguin, according to legend. Penguin was one of the first companies that offered booksellers an opportunity to return books if they didn't sell. They were coming out with a new type of paperback, and the booksellers were very horrified. They thought it would ruin the publishing industry. And so Penguin said, we tell you what, if they don't sell, you can return them. And things just kind of snowballed from there. I have friends in the garment industry. I have friends who work in the toy industry that are amazed and horrified that people can return books willy-nilly for years, whether they're in good condition or not. That's not how it happens. If a store buys 40 sweaters, they get those 40 sweaters. So that's why there's clearance racks. So Wendy, returns, be very, very careful. I do have on my YouTube channel, if you go to youtube.com/Amy Collins, and you scroll down or you search within there, you will find that I've got a video, what's called POD math, print on demand math. And by taking a look at that video, I do go very deeply into what the ramifications are to your wallet, to the bottom line, if you decide to make your books available on returnable function. What I do with a lot of my authors is I keep them non-returnable for the first 90 or 180 days. We wait and see how the libraries are doing, how the sales are online. We go back and forth. And once we've developed a real awareness, once there's a huge amount of demand, then we make the books returnable to the bookstore market. So you can actually do a 1-2 staged release. You don't have to make them available returnable right away. You can always make that decision later. Sonia is asking about book trailers and what elements should be included and the best way to get them out to the world. I can tell you how we do things, Sonia. I might even be able to share an example. Let's see if I can do that while I'm talking to you. My favorite book trailers, the book trailers that I love the most, are trailers that don't actually talk about what the book is about. They don't talk about books. What they do is talk about what people said about books. So my favorite book trailers, including the one that I'm going to try and show you right now, they're videos that we had designed here. I've got a guy in-house. His name is Connor. He is fabulous. Hi, Connor. If you're listening, you're awesome. And he works with a bunch of guys that he found on Fiverr. He's very good at it. Oh, I did find it. Look at this. All right, so I am going to share my screen with you. And if it's okay with you guys, I would love to show you a video that we did for one of our clients. Let me put this out. I've never done this live before. I'm I'm working without a net, folks, but let's see. All right, share. And do you guys see a screen right now that says video number 6? If you do, if you see a video number 6, can you type a yes into the Q&A box or into the chat box? Let me know. Do you see that? Apparently not. You guys are not seeing my screen with the video. All right. Whoops, wait, somebody is checking in. Yes, Stephen can see it. Well, here's the video. I'll just show you a couple seconds of it. Okay, guys. So the purpose, and I'll stop sharing now, but the purpose of this particular video was to drive people to Amazon.com. We came up with a lot of different versions of this video. This was just one. You know, we don't always want to drive people to Amazon.com. Sometimes we want to, let me stop sharing. Sometimes we want to drive people to Barnes & Noble or to Books A Million or to IndieBound or their local library. But this particular video that I just showed you, that was meant to drive people to Amazon. By doing that, what we did was we took a bunch of Amazon reviews and we just, as you saw, we just did a quick, simple video. Having all that movement and those lovely things that people said about Fred's book really got the word out. We put it on YouTube. We boosted the YouTube so that his videos were, and that video was showing up on videos where people were watching about Seth Godin and Tim Ferriss and some of the people who are very similar to Fred. We also promoted the heck out of it on Twitter. Instagram, believe it or not, has a new video aspect. Instagram and Facebook, owned by the same company. So putting videos and boosted promotional posts out on Facebook also gets them out on Instagram. We were able to dramatically increase Fred's reach with a simple 23-second video. And we did it many different times, and we directed them to do many different things. Check it out at your local library. Go to your local independent bookstore. Go to Amazon.com. So that is how I went ahead and did a book trailer. That's my favorite way. You can do book trailers that actually give people the plot of your book, but I have found it far more effective. And you guys know this if you've been watching my videos at all, but I'm a huge fan of British fiction. British authors are my favorite. They've been my favorite for decades. I love Rosamund Pilcher back in the 90s. The Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Society, brilliant masterpiece. Hilary Mantel, I would quit my job and go sit at her feet day in and day out. Enormous fan of Hilary. So I love British. But instead of telling me about your novel that takes place on the Isle of Guernsey, why don't you send me a quick video or let me watch something that says, you know, for fans of Hilary Mantel, did you love September by Rosamund Pilcher? Then you are going to adore October by Sonia Frontera. So what I'm suggesting is that you use videos to draw people's attention by telling them how what you have, they already want. What you have, they may already have something similar and that they want you to. So that's how I do book trailers. I don't use them so much to tell the story. I use them to talk about and to share how fabulous my author's books are. All right, let's see. Sonia's asking if I have any freelancers that we would recommend to do book trailers. I do. Us. I might as well be frank. If you guys want some book trailers done, we can do it for you very inexpensively. Just email us at info@newshelves.com and tell us what you're looking for. Connor, the guy who does them for me, he is awesome at it. I would absolutely love, Sonia, to do a book trailer for you. And for any of you, these Free Advice Fridays, we try to be helpful. And I bet you we can do a really nice job for you if that's something you're interested in. All right, let's see if there's any questions on the Facebook page. Yes, there is a delay in Facebook, and that I will see some of these questions. Anurup, thank you for this question. His, I believe that Anurup is a gentleman from his picture. Forgive me if I'm not being non-binary, but his print book is published, and he's creating an audiobook version of his book, and he is the narrator. He does miss some words, and he's made errors during the narration. Will that be okay? Does the narration have to be precisely accurate and precise to the print book? Yes and no. Anurup, it is not okay if you made an error. An error is not okay. If you are saying or if you glitched and you're not editing the glitch out, absolutely not okay. If you said something that does not fall in line with the truth of your book, if you're saying, if you called somebody the wrong name, if your book is nonfiction and all of a sudden, instead of saying that you would marry them, you shouldn't marry them, if you've made an error, it has to be fixed. But if you've dropped a few words, just call it a day. No, come on, it's fine. There are companies, HarperCollins, these guys, the reason why they pay people thousands upon thousands of dollars is they get every word exactly right. And they spend hours doing this. Richard Riedman, an audiobook expert out in Colorado, you might want to check him out, Google him and see. But I would recommend that it is better to not put out a substandard product than to wait, spend the time, and do it right. I will give you a very short example. My book that came out November of 2015, I can't believe it's been so long, called The Right Way. I hurried it. I rushed it. I had all this great information I wanted people to have, and I rushed it to market. And I made all of the same mistakes I now tell people not to make. I had it proofread, but I didn't have it proofread by 2 different people. And I always recommend you get it proofread by at least 2 professional proofreaders. My first proofreader missed quite a few things. And my layout and design was not good enough. What ended up happening is I got savaged by the reviewers. I had to pull my book. I turned it over to Michelle DeFilippo at 1106 Design. Fantastic company, guys. Highly recommend them. She did the design and layout for me. All of a sudden, I had a pristine, well-done book. It cost me time and it cost me money. But it would have cost me time and money anyway. But what I had at this point was the expense of time and money and the embarrassment that I put out the book incorrectly. So that is my story. I've done it. I am totally with you, Anurup. I get it. You want to do it properly. But I would suggest that you maybe find an editor to edit your videos or to edit your audios. All right, let's see what else we've got going on. Let's see. I do not see other questions on Facebook. Zach Fitch is saying that Legal Shield can help review publishing information. So, Stephen, for those of you who are asking questions about copyright law and about protecting your writing, Zach Fitch, whom, again, Vicki Fitch and her team, I absolutely trust. He is recommending a group called Legal Shield. And I will get a hold of him and I will ask him more about that for next week. All right. Let's see. Welcome, Jason, Mohammed, great to see you. All of you who are watching on Facebook, please hit like and share. If this information is at all helpful to you guys, I would love to answer your questions. I'm here every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I answer everyone's questions, and if you go to amysadvice.com, you will be able to sign up to join me live on the webinar where I answer your questions. Wendy is asking me to explain the process of having someone review your book. Is it okay to send an ebook or should it be a print version? I can answer that. I can't answer things about contracts, but boy, I know about book reviews and about ebook versions. There is a company called bookconnect.review. There is another company called bookfunnel.com. I like these companies. They're far less expensive than NetGalley, and they've got a much more easy to use and easy to access interface. If you would like to put a PDF, a MOBI, and an EPUB, which you should, listen to me, I'm wagging my finger at you. If you would like to put all 3 types of electronic files for your book up on the internet, bookconnect.review or bookfunnel.com are 2 fabulous options. You will get your book up online, it will get its own landing page, and you then can start sending reviewers, bloggers, the media, your dentist sister-in-law, whomever you want, you can start sending them to this page. They can download the book, read it, and write reviews online. They can start recommending it. It is a wonderful way to share your book. On bookfunnel.com, you can limit the number of downloads. So let's say when you hit 50, it shuts off. You can set up a date where you can say, okay, on August 39th, I'm taking this down. No more free review copies. It's not forever. It's a safe, protected way to offer your ebook to reviewers in a limited, protected way. They download it onto their devices. When you put a PDF up, I always put up a low-res PDF with a watermark. I always throw a watermark across it, review copy, not for resale, on every page, so that nobody does anything, let's say, unthinkable or untoward. So yes, Wendy, you can offer an ebook in this day and age. I used to say that print books count, and they do. I mean, the higher end reviewers, if you're going to go to a high end reviewer, or if you're going to ask Michelle Obama for an endorsement, send her a couple of hard copies, send her real books in a very nice basket with a ribbon around it. And, you know, so it depends on the level. If you're asking a blogger who has 9 followers and no RSS feed to review your book, send them a link to bookconnect.review or bookfunnel.com. And that is my suggestion. All right. Gregory is saying, is it common to have your audiobooks recorded by people other than you? Yes, that is by far the most common way to go about it. There are 2 sites I would suggest that you guys check out. My favorite by far is called Findaway Voices. Google Findaway Voices. They are a sister company to Draft2Digital. Findaway Voices is a fantastic resource for self-publishers who want to distribute their audiobook into the wider marketplace. And they have a large amount of talent there, producers, editors, voiceover artists that you can hire to help you. My less favorite, but by far the most popular, is called ACX. ACX is owned by Amazon.com, and they are the fastest and easiest way to get up on Audible. Audible is the 600-pound gorilla in our industry. ACX also gives authors the opportunity to get their audiobook reviewed and produced, and in many cases recorded by professionals, and they don't have to pay anything. And in some cases, they have to pay a little bit. But in exchange, ACX demands a 7-year exclusive where your audiobook is only available through the Amazon system. If you're okay with Audible.com and Amazon being pretty much your only market, and if a high quality audiobook is your goal, and if Amazon is your only market, ACX might work for you, both budget-wise and giving you a high quality product. But I don't recommend them to most of my authors because I want my authors out on Apple. I want them out on lots of different, and I want my authors' audiobooks in libraries. The audiobook market is quickly eclipsing lots of other, I mean, if you took ebooks and hardcovers combined, they sell more audiobooks. Libraries are, according to the American Library Association Materials Survey, over 25% of their budgets are geared just to buying audio downloads. And they share them on their website. Those of you who don't know how popular libraries are, 57% of millennials, according to the US Census data, have been either to their public library or on their library's website downloading ebooks and audiobooks in the last month. This is an enormous way for you to make a great deal of money, and it's a fantastic way to grow your readership, but not if you've given your exclusivity to Amazon. So yes, Gregory, great question. It is common to have audiobooks recorded by other people, and in my opinion, it should be. Unless you are a professionally trained voiceover artist, you have no idea the number of little quirks that you have, the little ticks and talks in the back of your throat when you speak. You may have noticed, use the word so. I use so to start every other sentence. I know it's extremely annoying. I'm trying very hard to break myself of it. I almost said it there. So when you're recording an audiobook, all those little things pop up and you don't realize it. So There you go. There's the word again. Now it's just going to get funny, guys. I hope you're enjoying this because I am mortified at the moment. Gregory, hire somebody else. And I would say the same thing to Mr. Sebastian. You might want to hire someone to do it for you. Someone's asking if there's any percentage data on the popularity of male versus female voices. There might be. I have no idea what it is. I'm sorry. It's a great question, but I don't know. Gregory goes, right. Very funny. Aren't you guys clever? All right, it is 10:45, and I have gotten through another Free Advice Friday. I am here every Friday morning at 10 a.m. If you're watching this live or as a replay on Facebook, please like it. Please share it with others. I would love to be of service to other authors next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern on Free Advice Friday. If you're interested in joining us live and asking the questions and getting into my Free Advice Friday updates and newsletters, just go to amysadvice.com. There's a big red button in the middle of the page where you can sign up. amysadvice.com. It's wonderful to see you all, and I will see you all next Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern on Free Advice Friday.